Okay, well there's my glow-in-the-dark DVS Diesel. Man, it is glowing like all fury. When he's got that invisibility cloak on, yeah, he's really hard to see. And Diesel seems to be nudging something there. Is that Thomas that's in front of him? There's something slowing him up, but I haven't quite worked out what it is. Well, hi there. Today we're going to take a look at a wondrous TrackMaster 2 Thomas & Friends playset called the Glowing Mindset. Oh, it could be spooky. I can see it has glow-in-the-dark track. I can also see the Thomas features some glow-in-the-dark parts as well. Strangely, I can see Diesel on the packaging, but Diesel is not part of this playset, so I don't understand what's going on there. This set was purchased in Aldi Australia. It was only $30 and it sold really fast. I'm going to make a hard-up comparison of this playset versus one from a couple of years ago called Thomas's Midnight Ride, which is a classic TrackMaster playset. Okay, let's do it! When I saw this playset in Aldi Australia, I knew it was going to sell quite fast. Put it this way, I didn't see it in any other retailers. I like for the fact we get a nice glow-in-the-dark and specialised Thomas. I'm a Thomas collector, so I'm going to like this. It's a 2017 playset, but there's a bit of a revelation that happened for me when I saw the back of the box. When I saw there was also available a glowing Thomas, a glowing Edward, glowing Diesel and glowing Track Pack, I'm feeling like I need those, but I never saw them available in the Australian retailers, and I feel rather sad for that. You know, it's funny, I'm sure I did my own glow-in-the-dark Diesel. Maybe I gave Mattel an idea. I didn't see any royalties for it. On the back of the box, there's a bit of a read there that gives this playset some purpose. Yes, Thomas is a useful engine. There are some play features explained in those pictures there. If you want to study those, you can. And if I traverse down nice and slow, we get to see other parts of the playset explained. Visually, it's actually a very exciting playset to look at. There's a nice tunnel there. We go across and I can just see some of the TrackMaster 2 components that they've given some nice fluoro bright colours to. Yes, I quite like the look of this. I notice there's Thomas there on the back of the box, but there's also the child looking at Thomas saying, "Oh, hi Thomas, what are you up to?" But I think that child would rather be playing Fortnite. Maybe a couple of years back it would have been Minecraft or Roblox. I think on TrackMaster 2 playsets the most important area to look, I know I'm going to sound boring and like a broken record here, is this section here. Yes, this picture here can either make or break a playset in my mind. I'm looking for useful pieces. I'm looking for parts that can be used across multiple layouts. I'm not looking for giant plastic pieces that are like one-trick ponies. I feel this playset has enough useful pieces to say, yes, this is a very good playset to buy. Okay, it's time for the unboxing. Hear that? That's a rubber chicken. I'm not going to use a chicken in this one because I like to preserve the boxing, and you'll know why when we get further on in this video, because we're going to make a comparison to that earlier set, aren't we? And sometimes it's nice to keep the box. I'll get the Thomas out of here. Oh, there's some sticky tape there. I'll just do a careful cut there. There we go. I'm not going to say the word knife because that might trigger a demonetization. It's like that on YouTube these days. And remember to keep this bubbly part because you can make your ghost Thomases like I've done in the past. I think that's a lot of fun to do. Yes, I like that piece a lot actually. Keep those. Oh yeah. This looks very nice. Just looking at the top of the box here, you got a normal face, which, you know, I would have preferred to have something special there. But hey, I quite like the look of that, and I quite like the look of this truck here. And there's the special little minerals that Thomas has got. Isn't that the stuff that kills Superman? Well, that'll give me a special tag, won't it, if I say something like that? Well, just off camera, I've cut that up to be a Thomas invisibility cloak from that plastic from the top. That's the fun you can do. I dare not show me using scissors, or someone will say that's unsafe, Leo. There we go. Where's Thomas gone? I can't see him. I can't. Oh, there he is, because he's got the cloak on. He's gone. Where is he? Can you see Thomas? I can't see him. He's got... Oh, that's the problem. You can only see Thomas when that cloak's... Where's he gone? I can't see him. Oh, it's too much for me. It's too much. So the lesson in that is the best fun is often from the parts you normally throw away. Well, it's time to get the contents out of the box. I'm going to do a bottom dump. I've not often opened the boxes up from the bottom, and it's a very delayed upload because... Well, I've been served a very raw onion from Google/YouTube. I'm really sick and tired of it, actually. Here's the constructions without getting too boring and talking about the problems I've got with the site that I upload. So at least they're in colour, which is nice. In fact, it looks a bit of assembly work there. a nice little layout plan there. You can work it out. I hope I can work it out. I'm sure I will. Some of the features. Yeah, and the back here, how to play. I'm sure we know how to play with Thomas, don't we? It also talks about one-time snapping pieces when you put things together so they're together for good. I'm still growling for the fact I see that there, but I don't see that stock in Australia, and I get no help from that company called Mattel. That really starts to grind with me, I tell you. Okay, out comes the stuff and looks totally awesome. I'm half tempted to turn the lights out so I can look at the glowing globs of wondrous plastic on the table there. Did you notice something on the side of the box? There was one track part, which I think is the dynamic one in this playset, but it's used in a peculiar way. Let me just grab it out. Yes, I wonder if you notice this part here. Yes, this crisscross section of track, this is very nice. This must have been put into this set as a bit of a teaser, because you can have tons of fun once you've got a section of track like this. Well, let me build up the playset, and next time we look up on the table, we'll see this wondrous set in action. I'll tell you what, bring on the coloured instructions. It really helped in building this playset, and I'll tell you what, if I pull back here, this is a really nice looking TrackMaster 2 playset. It is just eye candy galore. Really nice. But the problem I've got right now is I can't see Thomas. I can't see him. Some clowns put that invisibility cloak over Thomas, and the only way I'm going to find him is if I go around feeling... Oh, okay, get rid of that thing. That is a nightmare. Okay. I'll turn Thomas on, he's got his batteries in, and we'll give him a run around the playset, and oh, there's stops and goes, isn't there? Because you can then deliver something, I hope, like that, and we can let Thomas go and make himself useful in the playset again. He goes up and over, down that way. There's another stop go there to pick up his kryptonite, underneath there, through the scary tunnel, and through there again. Very much a playset you can just enjoy standing back and watch Thomas do his stuff. Yes, this is one of the really nice TrackMaster 2 playsets. Sometimes I don't like the elevation aspect of TrackMaster 2, but hey, it seems to work here. If I'm smart here, I can stop Thomas. I can give the flick to the toxic waste and give him some kryptonite instead, because he wants to go and deal with Superman, and set Thomas on his way again. Yeah, bust through there and put the toxic waste where it belongs. I'll just watch Thomas going around dragging his load of kryptonite there. He's still trying to find Superman, and some parts of this playset have been rigid built in a sense, but that part there can be morphed and changed. You can have track running over the top. I think the trick to this playset would be to get multiple of them, and then you can have some really awesome glow-in-the-dark TrackMaster fun, because there's enough good track parts here across multiple sets. You could really, well, fulfill a whole bunch of toy train fun, couldn't you? And the curious aspect of this playset, and I alluded to it before, is that lovely crisscross section, which can be set up in, you know, a great way, is used in a peculiar way here. It's actually down in the tunnel there, and it's got like two dead ends attached to it. I'm sure they've put that crisscross in there just as a bit of a lure to buy the playset. I'll just haul Thomas up here at the stop and go. It has got two stop and goes, which is sort of unusual, and I'll set Thomas off again. If he plays up, we just smack him. And I'll stop Thomas at this section here, oh, just in time, and I'll deliver that cargo down there again, the toxic drum, and we'll set Thomas on his way. Occasionally Thomas plays up, but welcome to TrackMaster 2. Often on the curves you get little train wrecks, but hey, that's part of the fun of playing with trains. And if I keep an eye on it, it never happens again, does it? It sort of happens off camera all the time. Welcome to Thomas Land. Keep your eye on Thomas, he could go frantic at any time, and I think maybe one thing this set needs, and I can see there's areas for it, although we weren't given any, is steckle decals. And let me just show you on the tunnel there. Yes, it could have been a sticker put there, would have made it far more awesome. And either a sticker on this delivery area, it may have helped to give it a name, you know, do something with it. And maybe even a sticker or something on this component here. It's got detailing, but I don't know, I think a little sticker might have helped it. But really, that's being quite nitpicky. I think there's more good things going on here versus things that are wrong. It's just visually interesting to look at. I'm quite enjoying just having this glow-in-the-dark Thomas set to play out in front of me like this. It's beautiful. Might be a nice time to turn out the lights and see how this playset really plays. Okay, the glow-in-the-dark parts of this, it is excellent looking, but the glow-in-the-dark effect wears off. So what I've got to do to video this is basically stop recording and then go and turn the lights on and get the glow in the dark effectiveness working again. Mind you, the wheels on Thomas seem to be holding their glow in the dark part better than other parts of the playset. I'm sure you're curious how the TrackMaster Classic glow in the dark track performs versus TrackMaster 2, so I'm going to put a piece of this on the table here. It is quite vibrant, isn't it? I can't believe this. Every time I'm not looking at Thomas... Oh. What is it with this Thomas, man? I just don't get it. To see how it compares when Thomas has a crash over there. And again, it keeps being off camera. Naughty Thomas, please perform on camera for me next time, please. I'm going to add a piece of it to the table here and compare how it keeps its glow. Can you believe that? Thomas just keeps derailing and I never seem to get it on camera. Naughty Thomas, naughty! And if I put my camera on Thomas, he never derails. Why is that so? So let me do a voiceover part here because I can pull out about 5 minutes of footage that I originally had in this video of me trying to capture this Thomas on screen derailing. I needed the shot where I put down that classic piece of glow in the dark track and I needed the Thomas to pass by. You'll see that final bit, but crikeys, to get to that part, it was infuriating. And what I did was I thought, okay, I'll video this little toy and see if I can understand how it's derailing. As soon as I put the camera on this Thomas toy, do you think it would derail on camera? No way. Thomas is too smart for that. And I must have watched it go round about 30 times. Not once did it derail, 30 times going round, but as soon as I took the camera away from this little toy train, it would just keel over and derail at that set of points. We see the trouble in that section of track later on in the video, and maybe people who have TrackMaster 2 can relate to what's going on there. But if I do this talk over here, I can pull out a whole section of video, which in a funny way is comical, but also in another way is quite annoying. Now I'm sure you're curious how the classic TrackMaster glow in the dark track performs versus TrackMaster 2, so I'm going to put a piece of this on the table, let it soak up some light, and we'll make a comparison which one holds its glow the best. Okay, we've had plenty of light there. I've had a bit of a game trying to capture Thomas derail and I've failed, and I'll turn the lights out now and we'll see how this performs. It is spectacular in its glow in the dark format. I have got a camera that can capture things that are very subtle in light. It is a very subtle effect to the naked eye, and I think the classic TrackMaster track, to me, is holding its glow better. That's what this is all about, okay? Thomas's wheels, I have to be careful because it's very hard to focus when there's sort of nothing to focus on, is definitely keeping its glow, but this TrackMaster 2 glow in the dark track is nowhere near as glowy as the classic TrackMaster track. Now I hope you concur with me, I hope I'm not being nasty, I'm just pointing out the sheer and utter facts here. Yes, the glow's almost gone from the TrackMaster 2 set. I can still see a glow emanating from the classic TrackMaster track. Quite curious, isn't it, to see that? Yes, that certainly paints a picture of difference between the two styles of track, doesn't it, hey? Even under the light on the table here, you can see how much vibrant the classic TrackMaster track is, and that is from one of the classic sets, I dare say. I'll be making a total comparison of this set here versus this one, but I'll tell you what, let's not diminish this set totally. For a TrackMaster 2 set, it's actually fairly awesome, and I still haven't captured Thomas doing that derailment on the side there. Maybe I need to give him a bit of a job and we'll change over to Kryptonite, because that's all the fun of this playset. Okay, I'll just set the stop here and we'll put the Kryptonite in, and again we'll take out the toxic load and we'll set Thomas off. He almost played up, but now he's playing good. And that goes back there, and what I'd like to do now is come along and basically flip this whole playset round so we see it from a totally different angle. And that will let me show off one of the tests that I like to do with any sort of playset is, can I move this around without it falling apart? And Thomas is still running here. This is going to be quite daring to do because it's going to be nearly off the table here. Whoa, very, very daring, and it hasn't fallen apart yet. We're getting there, looks like. Possibly, I hope. That I've got there, yes. I think I've done it. Hey, yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. So I'll give Thomas a couple of rounds looking at it the other way. I think that's important to do. It looks different, doesn't it? Well, that's what it's all about. Looking at it in one direction tells you one story. Looking at it in this other direction starts to paint a bit of a different picture, doesn't it? And I'll stop Thomas here and we'll take out the Kryptonite load because he's been a very busy Thomas, and we'll give him his invisibility cloak, and at the moment I can't see where Thomas is, so we can magically watch him go around without knowing where he is. I think he's over there somewhere. No, maybe he's over that side. I haven't quite worked out. Maybe if I follow the sound. Yeah, I'm just listening very carefully. I'm listening extremely carefully. Just let me concentrate here, because it is actually a little bit tricky to do. When he's got that invisibility cloak on, yeah, he's really hard to see. In fact, he's near impossible to see. I know some of you will have a go at me at that, but come on, let's have some fun. I mean, this site just doesn't have any fun left on it anymore, that's what I see. Considering this playset's box, and I've just got it here, showed Diesel on the set there, let me go and hunt down my glow-in-the-dark Diesel I made myself. And just as I was looking at that box, would you believe it? Well, I can't see it, but Thomas derailed there somewhere. If I put my hand in and try and... Oh, there he is. It's very hard to do when he's got that invisibility thing going there. I think he's off on his way somewhere. Well, I had to do a fair bit of digging to find this. I'd put it away in a box under the house. There is my glow-in-the-dark custom Devious Diesel, and I'll get Devious Diesel on his way with the Invisible Thomas somewhere following him, I hope. And Diesel is oiling his way round the track in beautiful style. Man, I made that, well, to me it feels like many, many years ago. I know some of my core audience, and I know there's a few people who've been watching me nearly from the start and are still watching me, would tell me the date. There's some wonderful audience members that remember things so clearly. It looks beautiful. I'm sure somewhere along the way there, both of them are going over and each other and whatever, and maybe something has gone wrong with Thomas, I don't know. Did you see that? I don't know where Thomas is, but for some reason Diesel has fallen over. Oh, okay. That's right. Well, invisibility cloak's still working at least, and Thomas went foul there. And I'll get Diesel on his merry way. Go, Diesel, go. Maybe I've given the Wondrous Mattel Company an idea to have an invisible cloak Thomas, hey? I'm sure anything could happen. I'm sure if they did it, they'd never have got the idea from me. I know how things work. And Diesel seems to be nudging something there. Is that Thomas that's in front of him? There's something slowing him up, but I haven't quite worked out what it is. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I just saw something appear and disappear. Oh, the strangest things happen on this railway. It's quite magical, isn't it? Hey? But keep my eye on this one. You know, anything could possibly happen. And I think something did... Thomas has darted away, I think, and, well, Diesel stuck there in TrackMaster 2 fashion. And sooner or later, Invisible Thomas will come along and, yeah, give Diesel a shove. That's all the fun, really, and, there we go. I finally got on camera the Invisible Thomas, I think, has crashed there, although I'm not that certain. Yeah, that's him there, okay, and, Devious Diesel has departed. Literally saved by the rubber chicken. You don't see that on YouTube every day, boys and girls, do you? And I'll get Devious Diesel back wonderfully on track. Go, Diesel, go. I'm just letting the Diesel soak up some light, and I will turn the lights off again, and we'll hopefully see. That must have been like history repeating itself, eh? Thank goodness for rubber chickens. They do come in use. They stop toys from hitting the ground, and I think, again, I'm just feeling around here, Invisible Thomas was playing up. And we'll get the wondrous Devious Diesel back on track. Go, Diesel, go. As I was merrily saying before, and I'm starting to lose track because this video is starting to derail, I'm just letting my glow-in-the-dark Devious Diesel soak up some light, so when I turn the lights out again, yeah. I don't know, I think maybe Invisible Thomas has crashed then. I think I've got to come down and feel here. Yeah. Naughty Thomas, naughty. And that invisible cloak is nothing but a nightmare, isn't it? Hey, but it's fun to do, and Devious Diesel, well, this time was trying to eat the kryptonite. Okay, bye Diesel, and hopefully I'm showing you this is all the fun of playing with these sorts of trains, eh? All the fun. And it gets, yeah, that's how it plays out, you know? That's why you play with these trains, and I can see that because the cloak has fallen off, and maybe it's time to get rid of that invisibility cloak. I can't say invisible... Anyway, it's gone. I'll get Thomas back on track, and I'll get Diesel back on track, and I'll turn the lights out. You have to believe me on that. I'll get them back, believe me. Okay, well there's my glow-in-the-dark Devious Diesel. Man, it is glowing like all fury. That's one that was a custom job. I can see the TrackMaster 2 track is diminishing in glow. That is actually stunning. And let's take a look at the Thomas here. I think the wheels on it are a spectacular aspect. But I'm actually just happy that my version of the glow-in-the-dark diesel is proving to be an absolute stunning winner. It's actually quite spooky to see that, isn't it? But I sort of can't keep my eyes off it, and he's going to come along, and now I can see Thomas because the invisibility cloak is gone, and he's going to play havoc here, as glow-in-the-dark diesel does. Yes, I mean, who knows where the focus is going, because when you're playing in the dark like this, Diesel finds a kryptonite, doesn't he? And sooner or later, Thomas will come along and want to, do something like that. Yeah, this video is a different one, isn't it, hey? But playing through trains in the dark, that's where it's at, isn't it? Woo! And now with nearly all the glow-in-the-dark effectiveness of the track gone, my custom glow-in-the-dark devious diesel is still glowing on strong. Lovely to see. Maybe the best thing to do is go and paint up your own track with that expensive glow-in-the-dark paint, and you might get a better effect than what comes out of the toy box, eh? Okay, I've got the lights back on, and Devious Diesel is still playing havoc there with glow-in-the-dark Thomas. And we'll just see how this one minces out. Then what I'll do is I'll take the playset outside and upstairs, and we'll compare it to a TrackMaster Classic, hey? I think that'd be very, very worthwhile to do. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time for things to go wrong. I like for the fact on TrackMaster 2 there are areas where you get jeopardy and pinch points. I think that's all the fun. And it's just a matter of keeping a close eye on there. There's a nice pinch point there. It was right in that tunnel section there, hey? The doors that have jammed up on the thing there, and Devious Diesel can go again. And Devious Diesel, for some reason, is much faster than Thomas, but you get that with TrackMaster 2. I've found that some engines, for some reason, and Devious Diesel is just having a bit of havoc there himself. Off you go, Diesel. It doesn't take him very long to catch up, I tell you, and he wants to be nudge, nudge, wink, wink with Thomas again. Oh, ooh, almost that same. Oh, there's another pinch point. Yeah, I actually quite like this style of play. So there you go. Another section there, and Thomas has escaped away, and Diesel is again on his way. Again, in no time at all, Devious Diesel's coming up and wants to kiss some play with Thomas's wagon there. Oh, caused his own little strife then, and Thomas's wagon was playing up, but self-corrected itself. As you, well, almost as you, did in the end, and Diesel again is, wow, cranking along, trying to tip it over there. And imagine how awesome this playset would have been if it did come with a Thomas and a Devious Diesel. It would have been one of the all-time must-have playsets to have, and I've got a funny feeling that Mattel need to start looking at a much bigger picture and start being a little bit more generous in the way they deliver their playsets. Look, this is a great playset, but it would have been totally and completely awesome if you had two trains and you could have Jeopardy fun like this, because this is where it's at. And I've got a sneaky suspicion that Mattel Company, who now sort of own this franchise, I don't know, they seem to not understand that. I just think, if it came with two trains, it just would have been such a great playset, and I can prove it by the way this is playing out here. I would have been saying absolutely must-have playset, go and buy as many as you can, blah, 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 but we never got the two trains, even though we saw Devious Diesel was sneakily on the box. Well, my son's just turned up, and he wants to see this in glow-in-the-dark mode. I'm not going to show him in this video because, well, we've got these child protection policies now, but I want to hear his reaction to this in glow-in-the-dark mode. Okay, we're in glow-in-the-dark mode. What do you think of that? Yeet! Yeet? I've got to say more than that. What else do you think? Well, it's cool. What do you think of that diesel, the one that Daddy did?
It just looks cool instead of black, because if it's black, it would be like a ghost you can see.
Yeah, again, you can see just how brilliant my glow-in-the-dark diesel is there versus the rest of this playset, hey?
Rename it Dead Diesel.
Dead Diesel?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he's dead. He's just had his little crash over the back here. Well, there you go. I'll reset this and I'll get the lights back on, eh? Just tell me what your thoughts about that playset. You've seen a couple of Thomas and Friends trains. Just nice and early, tell me what you think.
It looks cool.
It does, that's right, it looks cool. And that's sort of what I said when I first put it up on the table, isn't it? Okay, I've brought both the TrackMaster 2 and the classic TrackMaster set. That's the Thomas Midnight Ride set there. Of course, that's the Glowing Mine playset there with the Thomas who likes to derail on us. I'm just carefully watching the way my son interacts and plays with both playsets. Quite interesting to watch. Yes, I'd actually forgotten the wondrous pieces of classic TrackMaster that played out like this to do deliveries onto Thomas. TrackMaster 2 has a delivery system like this. Come on, S, and go Thomas go. Sometimes. Yes, it is actually very, very curious to see these two train sets playing out hard up against each other. I know how much I paid for that TrackMaster 2 playset there, it was $30, and I certainly know how much I paid for that classic TrackMaster set there. It was a $50 set back in the day. And just standing up on a chair and looking at the footprint of these two playsets, I'd say the classic TrackMaster playset has a slightly larger footprint. And just being down on the table here, I mean, my eye is always drifting towards this classic set, I can tell you, because it's got that very bright dynamic track. Going and look at the TrackMaster 2 set there, I'm trying to be as fair as possible without my son causing too much of a train wreck. And also this classic set had another little curious feature going inside Morgan's mine there. As Thomas goes through Morgan's mine, he will trigger a little lamp in there, and it's probably better seen in the dark. But it's nice. You don't see that on the TrackMaster 2 set. And just on the mine section, we also see there's a little bit of steckle-deckle work going on, and that was what I think was missing from the TrackMaster 2 set. I can tell you which one of these playsets is more stable. It's the TrackMaster Classic one. Mind you, it's nothing wrong when Thomas goes wrong. Which one of these playsets is calling out to you? Which one is your eye going to? Which one do you feel's got more playability? I saw my son play with this feature when these are first brought out on the table a lot. He likes this part a lot. I didn't see him grabbing for, and Thomas has just derailed, the supply depot on the TrackMaster 2 set. He didn't want to play with that, but he seemed quite happy to play the fiddle and diddle with the kryptonite here and putting that in there and, you know, setting Thomas on his way. And Thomas plays up there. Hopefully I've got that on camera. Maybe one of the biggest differences between the sets is actually the way Thomas is on the set, and in this TrackMaster 2 one we get basically a Thomas with featured glow-in-the-dark wheels. I think he needs a new set of batteries. He's worn out from playing with me here. And yes, he's played up again. But on the classic one, well, I'm pretty sure it came along with just a stock standard Thomas. But that was very much the way it was done back then. And I'm pretty sure that, well, the glow-in-the-dark feature of that track there is much more awesome than what happens with TrackMaster 2. Just get Thomas on his way, and I'll make a very important point here. Being a $30 set at Aldi, that is a great price. I'm not doing deals for Aldi. Aldi never speak to me, probably because of the trolley trap syndrome I was bringing up with them. But normally that would not be $30, and any other retailer would be more. I think saying $50 for a playset like this, that was the normal price that is in Australia when you're buying TrackMaster Classic. I love making the comparisons between the new and the old. This classic TrackMaster 2010 copyright. So as I'm making this video, it's about 8 years ago. Very different times of Thomas and Friends toys. This one here, TrackMaster 2, is 2017 copyright. Very much the way Thomas and Friends TrackMaster toy trains have been venturing in the last couple of years, be it for good or bad. But maybe the best people to ask is, which playset do you think has the best playability? Which one's the more fun? Which one has the best features? And really, which one, if you had a choice, which one would you buy? Maybe I'll ask this question, very simple question, I'll set it up for you. Imagine if you saw both these sets up online, they were the same price. Let's say they were both $25, okay? So you had a choice of buying a toy train set which was glow in the dark. Which one would you go for? Now you'd be saying to yourself, well, that classic one, well, that's a bit old-fashioned. It doesn't fit with anything else today. Mind you, that newer one has that spankier Thomas. Which one would you buy? But then again, which one in time would be the easier one to sell on? If you got sick of the train set and then you went to put it back up online again. Yes, think about that. So, 25 bucks for each one. Which one would you buy? Well, I can tell you one thing, which playset is more stable in play, and it's the TrackMaster Classic. This TrackMaster 2 thing has really been playing up in this corner here. Occasionally, the Classic one will get caught in the tunnel. Something happens at the entrance of the tunnel. I just hope I've made this playset correctly, because I'd lost the track plans and there's sort of a few fiddly bits of track in it. That's one of these things, if I try and catch the point where it gets caught in the tunnel, well, it never seems to happen, does it? No, Thomas, no. As I was looking over there, well, guess what happened over here? Yeah, it has been a big time constant. It was a tricky thing to capture down on the workbench, but now I'm outside here. It just keeps wanting to play up, but you know, the argument is that just as I'm over here, guess what's happened? There we go. The Classic one has got caught in the tunnel, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. It can be a very fickle thing, the old Thomas, when he's got a camera on him. When you want him to play up, he won't play up, and when you want him to behave, well, he likes to play up. Might be like a Nanny McPhee thing, I dare say. Of course, I did ask my son which one of these playsets does he like, the Classic versus the newer one, and he's always diplomatic. He likes both of them. I'm sure there are plenty of people who like that, but I actually like the Classic one because I saw the way my son played with this, and I'm going to play with it now to finish the video. These are the things you just do not see anymore, and I think these are the most important things. So you can take your load to there, you can lift it up, it delivers it back here, and when you push that back down, it delivers it back to Thomas. It's sort of like magic, but that's, I think, the most important thing to play with. And in a funny way, that's why the classics are the classics. And the things that aren't so classic, well, let's just say they're yet to become classics. Yes, it has been quite interesting. I've been watching my son, without him really knowing, playing with those trains there. And what I notice is he goes to the Classic set more than he goes to the more modern TrackMaster 2 set. Even though the TrackMaster 2 trains don't make it up the hill there. Well, there's my glow-in-the-dark diesel. Now they're pushing each other along. See, that's the fun. Yes, I always learnt lots from what my son did on trains to work out whether it was good or bad. It's always the fun, isn't it? The train wreck and, you know, pulling the playset apart. Massive train wreck, actually. I think I need to come outside and take a look at what's going on here. This is the train wreck that we've got going on. Wow. That's a mess, and it looks like there's another Thomas to try and come up to see this mess. Yeah, that's what we like to see. And yes, now we've got the remote control Percy with a lizard on top there as well. Just let me save Lexi here for a bit, and I'm just going to put Lexi on the track because Lexi runs in a bit of a different way. Even now, see, I've done it wrong there because Lexi's all back to the front. I'll just give Lexi a spin, and I want to hear what my son says about Lexi there. What's your thoughts about Lexi, nice and loud?
Really good, but it's back to front.
Yeah, really good, it's back to front. It's also stuck in the tunnel there. Go, Lexi, go. Yes, and Lexi's now collided with the back part of the rocket. It's slipping inside him because there's TrackMaster 2 on classic TrackMaster track. Come on, Lexi. Oh, remote control Percy's just taking a tumble. Lexi, I think, needs a bit of a helping hand here. Something like that. Okay, well, Lexi's now king of the mountain. So there you go. Lexi's a whole stack of fun, especially on an old classic TrackMaster set. So just tell me why you prefer that classic set versus that new set that I dragged out of the garage. What's going on there?
Because this set, it just like has like small stuff, like you just do that.
Small stuff.
Or just do that.
And so what's good about this?
But this one you can just do like a whole bunch of stuff. Like with this bit.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I think you've very much explained it for me. Thank you very, very much. In a strange way, it sort of answers the whole conundrum of if both sets were $25 online, which one would you buy? Well, I think my son's answered that one for me, and there's a massive pile up inside that tunnel now. Oh, that's better. They're clear. Well, the last thing I do in a video is make a thumbnail, and I'll have a bit of a whinge here and explain why I'm not doing a Halloween video this year on my channel. With the way YouTube is bent now to age restriction and demonetization, unless you're one of the shiny people, I wouldn't go anywhere near that style of video. I'm not one of the people that Google likes, from what I can work out. They seem to want to try and hack at my channel as much as they can. And the message that I get loud and clear is if I did try to do a Halloween video, it'd be so easily picked off and deemed not friendly. That was my little whinge. Maybe you can have something to say about that, but that's what I feel would happen. And just trying to sort out thumbnails can sometimes be a bit of a science. Yes, it's all about the angle and representing both of these trains in the nicest and fairest possible manner.